Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. This is Sandy, and I just came in from planting about 12 pumpkins. It's 83 degrees, and it is hot and sultry out there. We've had rain for days again, and so the humidity is a little high. In fact, I'm going to change my shirt. But what I've been doing with stuff from my gardens, my flower beds, my bushes, my shrubs. I've been making jelly. So I've made lilac jelly, dandelion jelly. I'm in the middle of making rhubarb jelly and chokecherry jelly. Now the chokecherries aren't ready, but I made juice from the berries before and just canned it so that I could make chokecherry jelly anytime I wanted to. If you don't know what chokecherries are, it's probably a northern thing. They're very tart, but they make great jelly and syrup. And so it's just one of my family's favorite things to do. So my goal this summer is to really make a lot of jellies and jams from what I produce. My rhubarb is gone crazy with all the moisture. And so I'm going to make jelly first, which I'm going to put the stalks in the steam juicer. And then I'm going to make the jelly. My brother doesn't like the texture of rhubarb when it's cooked, but he loves the taste. So I always make him some strawberry rhubarb, but my strawberries aren't ready yet, and so it's just rhubarb jelly. I'm going to show you making the lilac, the dandelion, and the chokecherry. I'm not done with the rhubarb, so that'll be a different day. But I hope it inspires you to look around your yard and see what kind of jellies or jams you can make out of things you might not have thought of. Anytime a flower is edible and you have enough of them, you can make some jelly. We are starting out with dandelions. Now in the springtime, dandelions are one of those things that the pollinators really need. And so I just pop the heads off of all of them. And then, though a lot of people will use a knife to cut them, I just break them apart in the center and work my way out and just take all that yellow, and then I just toss the green part because the green part will make it bitter. And so you end up with this half flower, but all of the petals have come out of it, and there's just a ton of them. I want to end up making some dandelion tea, so I just covered it with water. And I'm going to bring that to a simmer, and I'm going to let that simmer for a little while. And then the next day, after it's set, I'm straining it, and I'm adding a cup of orange juice to it also. Now, dandelion jelly tastes very much like honey. Now, to the sugar, I'm adding the pectin, and I just mix it in there so I don't ever have any lumps. And there's my dandelion water, tea, if you want to say that. And I'm going to add that sugar pectin mixture. And then I need it to get up to 220 degrees because that is the temperature that the pectin makes its web. And so that it will set the jelly. If you don't get to that temperature, now it can vary somewhat depending on your how much altitude you have. Like at sea level, it's one thing. And the higher you get, it goes down a little bit. But I waited my time. It's going to make into jelly, and I poured it into clean jars. I've got the lids all done, and I put it in my water bath for 15 minutes in my area. After that, I let it set for 5 minutes, and then I take it out. And it's a beautiful color. And it reminds you of Wyoming honey. It's that color. And so those are just going to sit on the counter for 24 hours. I put my label on there. I always like to put some material on there. And my jellies are set to give away or sell at the farmer's market. Now this is chokecherry, and I canned the juice last year so that I could make jellies whenever I wanted, or syrup. Just like the other, I added my pectin and my sugar together. I added some orange juice. On both of them, I actually also add some lime juice in there. You could use lemon juice, either one. And once again, it has to get to that 220 degrees. And there are my chokecherry jellies. It is a beautiful color. We like the chokecherry syrup on pancakes also. So if you ever have a time that it doesn't set, you can always use it as syrup. Labels on there and my material, and I'm set again. Now I'm up in the food forest, and I'm picking lilacs. I have some light colored lilacs and some darker colored here. Another part of my yard I have really dark colored purple, but they're not quite open yet. And so I'm looking for stalks of flowers that are open, because they will come off the stalk very easy. And all you have to do is hold on and just pull those flowers off. And we're going to make that tea just like we did with the dandelions. So I have a whole bunch of flowers in there. I've filled up my pot with water, and I'm going to let it almost come to a boil. I'm going to let it simmer, and then I'm going to turn it off and let it sit all night. Pectin and sugar together again. It's a key for me. I don't want pectin floating and have to crunch it up. And so it's all in there boiling after it's got to its 220 degrees. And there we go. We have lilac jelly. It is fabulous looking. Are you ready to make some jelly this year? I'll have the recipe below. But basically, any of those wildflowers or lilacs, dandelions, violets, anything that you're going to use, I basically use the same recipe all the time. If it doesn't set for you, you may have to reboil it. I just add a little bit more sugar and some more pectin, just because those flowers don't naturally have pectin in there, and every once in a while you have to just do that. June 7th, I am in a collaboration that's called Jam It Up June, and everybody is doing a different jelly, so you'll have to tune in to see what kind of crazy jelly I'm making for that. I'll see you next time.